Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays and season's greetings. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and you are watching USA Global TV. Hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio out of New York. It's a pleasure to have all of you here today. Our show is fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure, and it's quite a historic event today. I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but we have an incredible duo here with us today. Let's bring out the beautiful, lovely Diann Floyd Boehm, my co-host and friend. Welcome.
Well, hi, how are you? It's great to be here.
Fantastic. Thanks. How are you doing?
Very well. I mean, it's a blessing in our home because by tomorrow, all three of my young adults will be here.
Oh, that's so fantastic. And as I said when backstage, you look so calm, so peaceful.
How can I not? My girls are doing all the hard work.
That's so nice. And when was the last time you were all together?
Oh my goodness. It was at Rachel's home for Christmas, I believe. Rachel will have to clarify that.
Was that a year ago?
It was at least 3 years, I think.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So this is really a special time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're back in our family home where they grew up. So
even better. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for our guest today, someone that you know very well, and someone I've had the pleasure of interviewing, I want to say 3 times, but I'm going to have her clarify that. Before we bring Rachel out, Diann, you've done so much this past year. It's incredible. It would take people a lifetime to accomplish what you've done in 1 year. So I want to just play your wonderful clip, and let's take a look at a song of peace, and then you'll give us a little information about it and the other things that you've been doing. Okay?
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
Diann Floyd Boehm's A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy, whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at DiannFloydBoehm.com.
It warms my heart every time I see that. I'm really grateful to all my friends around the world who sent something in to put that commercial together.
Tell us a little bit more about why you wrote this and what it means to you.
So here's the book, and I finally got it in. This is the soft copy. The hard copy's on the way, and the art is incredible. The reason I wrote this is because the state of the world, we just really need people to calm down, take a deep breath, and work together. And the inspiration came to me because my son, when he was a little boy visiting Santa asked him what he wanted, and all of us were just so amazed. I mean, I was ready to hear a car, the typical things, and he's just like, I want peace on earth. And I was just like, oh, that's how I'm going to write my book. I'm going to write it about a little boy. So that's how it came. And the commercial's right. So after Christmas, Dr. Jacalyn, you and I'll get together, and everybody, we're going to put together a movement so everyone can send in them saying peace over and over. We'll be sharing with you exactly how we'll be doing that. So a song of peace, and let's hope 2022 brings as close to peace on earth that we can get, even if it's just for a day.
I commend you on that, Diann. I really believe that we just need to listen to each other, calm down, stop judging, and just give people safe space to share. So thank you so much for writing that. Tell us about some of the other accomplishments that you've had this year.
Well, I'll try not to take up too much time so we can get on to our amazing guest. But I feel so blessed. It took me a long time to become published. And everyone always said, once you're published, you'll be amazed. The books will just start flowing. And so I just kept writing and kept believing eventually it would happen. And it did. And so this year, I was lucky enough with Texas Sister Press as one of my publishers, and I have two publishers now, and the other is OC Publishing out of Canada. And so I made it into 'Tis the Season. This is for adults. And my short story that is for adults is all about King's first Christmas, and it's about a little dog that nobody wanted, but King discovers what Christmas is all about and who the true King is, and so that's really special. And then I was on Amazon for this, and it became part of the Amazon hot list in the fall, and it's based on my grandmother Ruby. It's a historical fiction for young adults, and I'm so proud of it, and I'm getting really great feedback, and it continues to do well. And so how exciting is that? I have 3 books out, and doing some amazing things with you, Dr. Jacalyn, that you're going to be sharing with everybody. So, I mean, what a great year, co-hosting 2 shows, being mentored by you. I mean, what a blessing.
I'm just speechless when I think about the fact that you're also a wife and a mother, and you help so many people. You're the queen of networking, and yet look at all you've accomplished, Diann. It's really tremendous.
Thank you so much. And I could go on about you as well, but let's do. I'll let you introduce our guest.
So our guest today is a bright shining star, an incredible woman who has accomplished so much, not just with her career and her education and her coaching and her writing and she's physically an Adonis, a dynamo. It's amazing the strength that she has physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And Rachel Boehm is someone that I really admire and appreciate. And of course, she is the daughter of the lovely Diann Floyd Boehm. And we're going to bring Rachel out, and we're going to just hear about all the wonderful things that she's been doing since I saw her last. Welcome to the program, Rachel.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jacalyn and Mom. I really appreciate you having me.
It's our pleasure to have you. And I just want to share with the audience that this has never happened before, right, on this platform. Right. So how are you both feeling about doing the show together? Diann?
Rachel?
Oh. Well, I'm pretty sure that you asked me a question, but as I was sitting in the chat, for some reason, the sound is a little off. And so I'm really catching maybe every other word. So I apologize to the viewers and Dr. Jacalyn. For some reason, it's a little hard to understand. Mom, maybe you can yell really loud since I'm downstairs.
Hopefully that helped. I put on the my audio, so maybe it won't interfere with downstairs. So I am very excited to have Rachel on our show, not because she's our daughter, but because everything she's accomplished. And of course, I know all the backstories, so I'll let her go. But I think what she's designing for the world to become part of and taking care of themselves is amazing. So Rachel, how do you feel about me being co-host with you on the show?
I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm sorry again. I Dr. Jacalyn, if you want to, so again, I apologize to the viewers. I really can't understand what y'all are saying to me. at all.
no.
But I know I promised to talk about the themes of like self-leadership and self-investment in the new year. So maybe it's helpful if I just kind of start throwing that, and then feel free to interject, and maybe I can get some of those, or if anybody's watching, they can pop some questions into the chat. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess first of all, right, self-compassion is not one of the things I listed, but it seems to be the theme for the moment, since I typically work with a lot of high achievers. I'm a high achiever myself. I know Dr. Jacalyn is, and as well as my mom. And moments like this, you're kind of also in the back of your brain going, but it is supposed to be perfect and we tested everything. And so we'll just, running with what's live right now, having the ability to practice self-compassion and let go of that perfection is really critical. It can be a contributor to burnout. So even though right now, probably all three of us are like, oh, we want to deliver the best show ever. Things happen, and you roll with it, and it's learning how to roll with it that teaches you what you're really capable of, and reminds you that of one of the pillars of self-compassion, that is the common humanity. And so every single person watching and every single one of us has experienced moments where things haven't gone according to plan and we're not able to deliver what we feel is our best, but that's what makes us human and actually relatable. So just to start with that, that's something that people can work on in the new year, particularly, again, high achievers and leaders. Some of the other things, I mentioned to Dr. Jacalyn and to a few of kind of my fellow mastermind group members that, so much of what I do is under the guise of self-leadership, of self-investment. And I really feel like 2022 could be the year of self-investment for people. And I've started using that phrase rather than self-care, not to take away the use of the word self-care, but as a reframing for some people. I think self-care is a great descriptor. It's a great word, but sometimes it can be used so much that we gloss over it. We forget the power and the meaning of what it is, or we equate it to things that maybe seem frivolous, or that we are afraid we will be considered frivolous for paying attention to. But if you reframe it like self-investment, that might be a way to help you give time and space for it. And so self-investment could be financial, it could be spiritual, it could be really anything, again, that is tied to self-care. This is so critical. The busier you are, the more important it is to invest back into yourself. So think about recovering is hard, if not harder, than you work out, for example. And again, mentally, physically, again, it's so hard for people that are the stereotypical type A personalities, right? The, again, high achievers, the leaders. We feel like we need to go. Entrepreneurs. It is so critical to take a step back and realize that taking care of yourself is a part of your job. Washing your face twice a day, taking a shower, washing your hair, stretching, moving, getting your finances in order. All of these little things are a way that you invest in yourself. And when you do that, even taking 5 minutes for yourself will build exponentially, because you will gain so much more energy back. So it's not a 5 minutes spent, 5 minutes reward. It's probably more like 5 minutes spent, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You will gain back so much more and be so much more productive if that's how you need to measure it. You will also demonstrate to people that they are allowed to take care of themselves. And by being that role model, it will make you a stronger leader. It will make you a stronger supervisor, business owner, teacher, whatever your role happens to be.
Rachel, thank you so much for sharing that. So many wonderful, important points. And I like how you framed it up with self investment. Your mom has, she's left the show so that we can have communication. Can you hear me all right?
It's a little better. I don't know what the deal is. I've tried it on cell and I've tried it on Wi-Fi, so maybe I'll run up to her story room
Yeah, so
and
we could
see if
pause
that
for a break,
connection
but
works better.
yes, that sounds great. But before we do, I just want our audience to know not only are you a doctoral student, you're a board certified wellness and health coach, you're a published author, you're an employee engagement strategist. What are some of the things that you do to give yourself that self investment that you need? Because you're go, go, go type A off the charts. And yet you also look so calm and beautiful and glowing and peaceful. So some tips that you could give us would be really appreciated.
Sure. I think you asked me kind of what I do to kind of
Yes.
practice what I'm talking about. Okay. So yes, I do a lot. And I think that is a testament to what I'm talking about. Um, I'm very, as my family can attest to a conversation we were having earlier today. I get up in the morning, I get up early, I go to bed early. Like I very much value my my sleep, my rest time, and you know, it's. I think I'll interrupt kind of the answer to your question just to say because I said I get up early. There's a lot of buzz about get up early. That's what successful people do. Honestly, we all have our own circadian rhythm. So if you are not built, so to speak, to get up early, you don't have to get up early. The point is that you're being don't hear me early and that's kind of the answer for you. The point is I have a standard routine that really tries to um, save save, that's not the word I'm looking for, value, protect, again, that sleep time, that rest time. What is for you? You're going to do 7 to 9 hours people to adults. So just figure that out based on how early you need to get up. So, I get up early. I typically work out right away. I nourish my body and my mind with, food that is typically as unprocessed as possible. And
Wow, I was listening intently and Rachel disappeared. We are going to take a break, and I think Rachel will log back in and we'll hear more of what she has to say. Something that I just wanted to comment on when she was talking about hours of sleep. I know that when I worked in corporate and I retired last year, I was always up by 5:30 in the morning. And I think that's great. Very disciplined and very structured. And now that I have my own businesses, I actually sleep a little bit later. So I'll get up at 8 o'clock, which is shocking. Last year, if you had told me in the beginning of the year I'd be getting up at 8 o'clock, I wouldn't have believed it. So I think the point is, as time changes, our needs change. As we get older, we need different things. So I get more sleep now than I used to get in the past, and I feel so much better. So I think that based on what Rachel was saying, find out what works for you and then just go ahead and implement it. So each of us have things that are working and then patterns of behavior that are dysfunctional that we probably should look at and evaluate how can we get rid of some of the things we're doing that are not working. All right, so we're going to take a break and then we will be back with Rachel. I see she's backstage, which is great. So we're actually going to watch a music video that I really love. It's called Nothing Is Wrong With Me. And then we'll be right back with Rachel Boehm on fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure. ourselves grace as part of self-investment?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think again, earlier I was talking about self-compassion. It really, everything comes down to making that decision. So just whether you're listening live or you're listening later, like right now, just decide. It's not, I mean, that's not the end of the road, but the first step has to be decide now that you're going to be nicer to yourself. Because again, everything comes from that decision. So then when you start to hear yourself beating yourself up, and it's going to take time to notice, you're not going to notice right away. But when you do notice, challenge those thoughts. So you're going to decide now to make the change. And then as you catch yourself in the old behavior, the behavior that you don't want to do, which is that negative self-talk, that beating yourself up, I should be, I'm not good enough, that was terrible. You will catch yourself, and then you will redirect, reframe, challenge it. Some of the questions that you can ask that I've had to overcome this too. And in many ways, there's still limiting beliefs that I have that I'm working with my own coach on, right? To overcome as I keep trying to level up. And so you pause. And this is why practicing mindfulness is so helpful, because it trains you to make that pause. So you hear yourself saying these things to yourself or about yourself, and you pause and say, okay, wait a minute. Would I say that to a friend? How true is that really? What's another way I can look at this? Am I really the only person that's ever, done X, Y, and Z or had this mess up happen? Those and similar questions like that. What is the worst that can really happen, right? Those can really be helpful. And then to walk yourself back, and then to change those thoughts that you're having about yourself. And then the more you practice this, the easier it will be, and the less likely you are to engage in those thoughts. So it's just, it's like anything. If you've ever worked out, right? You have to practice the skill before you can perform it. Singing, you have to practice the song before you can perform it. So with changing these thoughts, by giving yourself grace, it's just another skill. It's not a trait. It's not something you were born with. It is a skill that you can learn and master, but you just have to be willing to decide to start doing it, and then to start and fumble your way to mastery.
Thank you, Rachel. That was really helpful. And I'm wondering, because I'm someone who, I hate to say it, but I beat myself up a lot because I have very high expectations for myself. And last week, it was sort of the week of no. I heard no so much. No, can you do this? No, this is not happening. I'm not. And it started to really get to me, and I started feeling down, and I became very aware of it. And I decided to look at it from a different perspective. And the perspective that I looked at it from was, well, maybe these are no's because there's a big yes waiting for me on the other side. A question I would love for you to address for us is the difference between giving yourself grace and giving up.
Oh, yeah. I just want to say something on the rejection piece. Just, I'm just going to say I was rejected a lot last week, personally and professionally, and I tend to keep most of my media positive, but I think there's a way to share that we all have that rejection in a way that is a positive message. So I was thinking about this, and I so appreciate you sharing that, Dr. Jacalyn, because I don't think that, at least I talk about that enough. And it was interesting because I had someone tell me, I want to do what you do in terms of my business that I'm building. Like, I want to do that with you, but I'm just, you seem to you be so successful. You seem to be so good at doing this, that, and the other. And I'm not. And I'm like, well, I didn't start where I am now. I had to become that person so that I could achieve what I'm wanting to achieve. And I'm still not where I want to be now. And I face rejection all the time. It's just I'm a lot better at handling it because I've developed that skill. And so just for anybody that's watching that feels like, oh, that person probably never experiences rejection, or that person, when I get to this level, I'll have it all figured out. That, I will never get turned down, or the disappointments. I definitely used to think that, and it's so not true. You just get more skilled at handling them. But then, so thank you for that little sidebar. But to your question on the difference between giving up and self-compassion, again, it comes back to what you're telling yourself. So there's also a difference between giving up and changing your mind. And that's something that I really had to experience and discover coming out of college. Was changing my mind isn't failing. Changing my mind isn't giving up. Changing my mind is changing my mind. So if you want to change careers, change directions, change whatever, and you feel at peace with that, that's changing your mind. If you feel like you're a failure, so you should just quit, that's quitting, that's giving up. If you feel like if you're telling yourself, oh man, I don't think I'm good enough, but maybe I can get better, that's the beginnings of developing self-compassion. And so hopefully I'm answering by way of those examples, because I think that's probably going to be more helpful, is what you might hear yourself saying to yourself. So if you're being hypercritical, and then that's the reason why you feel like you need to change paths or quit, that's again that beating yourself up, failure mindset. If you are changing your mind because you're at peace with where you're at, but you feel called to do something different, that is that redirection. And if you feel like you aren't where you want to be and you're kind of beating yourself up about it, but you're able to then pull yourself out and say, actually, but you know what? Who is perfect, right? Babe Ruth struck out how many times, right? Everybody fails on their way to great success. And then so you can just turn off the negative mindset and try again. And that's going to be the example of self-compassion.
Brilliant. I love it. We have a comment from your mom. I like that we can fumble and pick up and keep going. Yes, we obviously just witnessed that, and we're going strong. Thanks, Diann.
Yeah.
Rachel, something I want to share is when you were talking about having the ability and the right to change your mind. I think that's so important. I pursued an opportunity, and the opportunity has been given to me, and it's something that I'm supposed to start very soon. I can't say what it is at the moment. And as time has gone on, I've really been thinking about, I don't think it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. And I don't know that I want to do it, but I'm so much ingrained in, well, I pursued it and they said yes. So now I have to do it, whether I want to do it or not do it, because that's being loyal and doing the right thing. But then I also think maybe doing the right thing is not doing it because I don't know that I'm going to be passionate about it, because I've seen it from a different perspective, if that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely. So I mean, it's the sunk cost fallacy, right?
Tell us more.
So pulling from economics, there's this idea of sunk cost, right? So I've already invested so much, I should just keep going. We don't think about what we're losing by continuing to go. So for example, the first one that comes to mind is somewhat hypothetical, right? So I'm in a doctoral program, and everybody's been so supportive, and everybody's like, I know you'll finish. I know you'll finish. I know you'll do it. And yeah, most likely I will. I don't intend to quit. However, what I've told myself is I'm not allowed to quit when it's hard. I'm allowed to stop and not finish the degree if I have decided at any point it is no longer serving me. And in that moment, you might think, or I might think, oh, I should just finish it because I've already paid so much. I've already spent so much. But I will lose more, maybe more energy, more money, more time, whatever, if I continue to go and it's no longer serving me. So we have this idea of like, I don't want to lose what I've already invested. But you're going to lose more by continuing to do it. Right. So that's kind of an example of sunk costs. Or, you could say I put a deposit down on a vacation, but now I'm not sure if I should go, but I've already spent the deposit, so I should still go. Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe you should just lose what you've invested and not go. And that can be a hard decision to make because we have this, loss aversion, but you want to be aware of the sunk cost fallacy and not buy into it. Then in terms of oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I love the transparency that you just shared that with us. That's a huge decision to have to make. And I understand because I was there. In the doctoral program. I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can keep doing this, working full time and then going to school at night and online. And it's a huge commitment and all the things that you sacrifice in order to be able to do that. And so that's a big decision to have to make. So
yeah, that's a lot. I was somewhere in here because my mom is, of course, the best mom ever, is a copy of my book. I saw I was gonna hold it up. I don't see it now. But
we can go to a break but you can get it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I have a whole memoir because I fell into the sunk cost fallacy. So if you want to learn from my mistakes, that's one way to do it.
Well, it's something else I think that's really important is and again, I'm just going to speak for myself with the decision for the doctorate or the decision for this new opportunity is the beating up factor, right? Where it's just, you just hear in your brain, it's like, what are you talking about? You said you were going to do it. You told everyone you're doing it and now you're just not going to do it. What's everyone going to think? Who cares what everyone's going to think? It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. It just matters what you think, what I think about the decision, because we have to live with it the rest of our lives.
Exactly. When I was starting my business, I was really, really insecure. Even, for years after starting it, I was worried about what people would think. And something that, some of my team members shared with me and that, I pass on and have to remind myself too, right? Because we still get into that mindset is those people don't pay your bills. Right. So, okay. So if they are thinking that you're a failure or thinking these things, they probably weren't in your corner to begin with. So really, who cares? And again, you have to take care of yourself. You have to make the decisions that are best for you. If they don't pay your bills, then they don't have to get a say, right? And there was, I don't know which celebrity posted this. I saw it kind of going through social media, so forgive me for that. But somebody, I guess, posted that if you have a problem with me, call me and tell me. And if you don't have my number, then I probably don't care. Or you don't know me well enough to know you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me. And I really liked that, right? It's just however you need to rewrite it for yourself, because some people may have your number, but it's so true, right? Like don't give people so much power over you. I think we give up too much of our power.
Yes, I totally agree. I love what you just shared about the celebrity. That's something to think about. Something else I'll share when you just talked about your last statement is when I got my doctorate and the company where I was working, I was so excited because now I was Dr. Kerbeck, right? I spent 7 years getting this. And I was told very promptly that you are either an academic or you're a salesperson. So if you want to work here, you're a salesperson. You're not Dr. Kerbeck. And they would not call me Dr. Kerbeck. And that really bothered me because I thought, wow, I earned this. And then I thought, why do I care? I have the diploma. I know I'm Dr. Kerbeck. If nobody calls me Dr. Kerbeck, that's fine. But that was sort of a wake-up call for me that I thought everybody was in alignment with what I had accomplished. And really no one cared. And not only did they not care, but they were not going to support it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, I had been looking at doing a doctorate for quite a while. And, it took time, unfortunately, to find the field. Like I knew what I wanted to look at. It just took time because it's not very well known to find the field. And then it took a few years while I was searching for that right fit, and I'm so glad I actually didn't find it for a while because when I first started looking, I was in it for the wrong reasons. I was looking to self-validate, um, and to try to make up for what I felt I was lacking, rather than. And the reason I thought of that is because you were saying, like, you were so strong and saying, like, well, who cares? I know who I am. I know what I've accomplished. But I think that would have just deflated me if I had gotten the doctorate. If I had been the person I was several years ago and gotten the doctorate then, I'd been like, no, but this was supposed to fill me and help me, be enough for this. And now I think I would be in the place where, you said, you're like, okay, I mean, that sucks. I worked really hard for this, and I would appreciate you respecting that and honoring it, but it doesn't invalidate who I am and what I bring to the table, whether you call me that or not.
Yes, that's so true. And I remember I was speaking to one of our executives, and I was lamenting about the fact that I had been in this really bad relationship, another one that, was my fault because I was in it. And this executive said to me, just think of it this way, you never would have gone for your doctorate. So it was interesting. I was in a dysfunctional situation, and I thought, well, this guy doesn't have time for me anyway. So why don't I take this time? I've got my full-time job, a part-time job. I'll just go and get a doctorate. so it is interesting how and why we pursue things. You were talking about timing, and
Yeah.
I am so glad that I did it. But again, it's a personal decision. So I totally respect you for whatever decision you make.
Yeah, thank you. I'm loving it right now, so it's all good right now. But when you said that, it reminded me of this story, and I don't know, obviously, if our listeners have heard it, but it's a towel story of a farmer, and we don't probably have time for me to tell the whole thing. So just the gist of it is that the farmer has a son, and the son, falls off a horse and breaks his leg. And so all of the neighbors, come over and they say, like, oh, I'm so sorry about your son. That's terrible. And the guy's like, we'll see. And then, war comes, and the men of the village are taken to fight, except for the son because of his bum leg. And they're like, oh man, you're so lucky. And he's like, yeah, we'll see. And so on and so forth. And so the farmer keeps experiencing either these setbacks or these push forwards. And all of his neighbors are like, that's so terrible. Oh, that's so wonderful. And the guy the whole time is just responding with, we will see. And I think that's such a wonderful lesson for us, because what we label bad and good, it's not across the board. There's certainly horrible, horrible, tragic tragedies, and there are wonderful moments. But the point is that in these little moments, these little experiences, it's often how we respond to them that make them charged one way or the other, positive or negative. It's that reaction. We don't know how it's going to play out. And so, just finding a way to respond with, okay, this happened now.
Hello, everyone. We've got some technical problems, it looks like. So she's back. Yeah, you were gone for a second.
Sorry, I don't know. Again, I don't know what's going on. The hill country hates me. But hopefully you heard the end of it. The point of the story is, I think you could also say it this way. So if anybody's ever done improv, there's a rule of improv called yes and. And I've been working with my coach on reminding me of that from my old acting days of, the affirmation that I'm using is every day I'm getting better and better at living by the law of yes and. So the idea is, when you're in improv, you never say no. You don't want to leave your partner to hang. And so whatever they bring you, you say, okay, yes, like you agree with it, and then you move forward, you build on it. And there's some really great books. I think Tina Fey has one that talks about this idea of yes and it's brilliant for life, for business, for really any situation. So this happens to you, and you say, okay, and now what? Not, oh my God, this is horrible. I can't. No. Just say, okay, it happened. Yes. and what am I going to do about it?
I love that perspective.
It's not easy to practice, but
Somebody said to me once that if it's possible to say yes as opposed to no, say yes and figure it out, because it even feels better in your body.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, let's give that some consideration. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, maybe you can read something from your books for us.
Oh, sure. I'd be honored.
Okay, fantastic. Everybody stay with us. We're going to take a break. We're actually going to hear from somebody we know and love again, and we'll be back after this.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diann Boehm. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diann Floyd Boehm tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diann's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diann's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diann's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diann's delightful books and much more at DiannFloydBoehm.com. Visit DiannFloydBoehm.com. That's DiannFloydBoehm.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. Our show today is fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure. And Diann Floyd Boehm is literally in the house, but she's not on the screen. So with us today is Rachel Boehm. She is a public speaker, published author, doctoral student, board certified wellness health coach, and an employee experience strategist. So much more. Incredibly talented and brilliant. Thank you for being here. I'm totally enamored and in awe of you all the time, because it's not just everything that you've accomplished on paper, but it's just what you put out into the world, your presence and your heart.
Thank you. That's so thoughtful. Thank you so much. I feel like I was given my journey to survive it and pay it forward so that other people either wouldn't have to go down the same path, or if they were already started on it, they could get off more quickly than I did.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
What are you going to read for us today?
Well, I admit I didn't even think about doing this. So we're just going to go with kind of the first things I was able to turn to in the break. So I'll read from my memoir, which is available. And I think it's on sale right now on Amazon, just FYI. So this is a collection of, so the memoir itself is told in 4 parts, and it's a collection of vignettes, if you will. And, you know, one of the ones I turned to, Dr. Jacalyn, I don't know if you can relate to this, but it's a memoir, right? So I lived it, I survived it, and I kind of wanted to move forward. So I haven't looked at this in a little bit. So it's funny, some of the ones I turned to. So this is chapter 4 from one of the parts on perfection. And I just feel like maybe we can all relate to this idea of thinking that we have to put our most perfect selves forward, right? God forbid we be judged to not be anything but human. So the title of the chapter is Avoiding Bumps. And hopefully my mom doesn't think I'm actually yelling at her right now. So, Mom, no, do it over. It's the third time I make her redo my hair. I don't even want to go to this stupid non-school dance. The only reason I was invited was because of the new rule. If you have a party that involves more than 10 students, you must invite the entire class. I don't want petty invitations or forced invitations. I'd rather not go where I'm not wanted. You have to go. Maybe it'll be different. Be nice. Maybe if you go up to them and are nice and not standoffish. I am nice, and you are putting bumps in my ponytail. My mom redoes my ponytail, then starts on the inversion piece. Careful not to disturb the finely smooth, slick-looking top. I've had a thing about hair precision ever since Mrs. Betty. I've had a thing about appearance ever since, well, forever it seems. The popular kids already have enough ammo. Why give them any more? I don't need any comments on bumpy ponytails or wrinkled clothes or dog hair from feeding Shadow after I get dressed. Why do parents do that? Tell me before I get dressed that I have to feed the dog? I can't go to school with dog hair on me, certainly not a school-related dance. I can't have anything off about my look. I'm going into enemy territory. I need to be and look sharp. This is junior high war. Junior high wars are serious business. It's a non-school dance because it's not thrown by the school. It's thrown by two of the families who could probably buy all of Austin. They've rented out an entire hall, hired caterers and a DJ. The DJ has his light show going and there's dry ice. My family could never do this. I don't belong here. Just skipping ahead. I see some girls laughing and they look over, then back at each other and laugh. A group of boys does the same. They have to be laughing at me. Maybe my hair is messed up, or am I flashing the way I'm sitting? Is my dress wrong? It's from Dillard's, not one of their stores. I get lost in analyzing my appearance, looking around, wondering what it is about me that's so funny when I hear, Rachel, do you want to dance? I have a stroke. Jason just asked me to dance. Jason asked me to dance. For a split second, I'm elated. And then my defense kicks in. This is a prank. It has to be a prank. I'm not falling for it. No, my knee hurts. That's why I'm sitting. He walks away and I want to leave. The payphone receiver is heavy in my hand as I dial collect. I don't have a quarter. Just lip gloss borrowed from my mom. My dad accepts the charges. He doesn't sound happy about it. I want to leave. They make me wait an eternity. I'm supposed to try harder. I try nothing. I keep to the perimeter. Finally, they scoop me up. Did you dance at all? My hair is perfectly intact. What do you think? I muse. No. And then on a lighter note, this is my first book. It's actually no longer unpublished, but there is a sequel coming, so I thought that might be fun. So this one is a collection of kind of quips and witticisms learned through work, relationships, entrepreneurship, health. And Dr. Jacalyn, I think this speaks to kind of some of the themes that we've been talking about. The first is, busy is not life's Olympic sport. The busy badge is not a gold medal. You do not win in life by being so busy. It's like really a pet peeve of mine, the whole busy thing. Okay. And
Me
since
too.
we're in the holidays and everybody's embracing cultures, hopefully, and, you know, even just your culture versus your family's culture, it's comforting that every culture has its version of chicken noodle soup. And then lastly, again, speaking to what we've been talking about here today, the only credential you need to live your life is confidence.
Wow. Brilliant. I'm still seeing you there at the dance, sitting there. And
Yeah, it's, you know, I couldn't remember how long the chapter was, so I thought I'd skip through it a little bit because I wanted to respect our time. But I mean, I think we can all relate to moments like that where, you know, it's funny, as I've reconnected with people from various parts of my life, you know, you see somebody as something and they see themselves as something else. And so in your mind, because of whatever you feel like you're lacking, you think they have it. But they're going through their own same, you know, stories. And so you think like, oh, if I just have this, or if I wear these clothes, or if I look this way, then I will be like them. And really they're probably telling themselves similar stories about they need to do X, Y, and Z to feel better about themselves, to be accepted. So just trying to capture universal themes so we can all realize that we're all, again, that self-compassion, that common humanity, going through so much of the same. And if we could just talk about it more, we could find a little more connection and forgiveness.
And Rachel, when you look back to when you were that moment when you were asked to dance, would you have changed it today if you could go back?
I don't know, actually. And part of me says, well, yeah, because I mean, like, even if it was a prank, what's the worst that can happen, right? But the other part of me is saying, no, because all of those little things added up to where I'm at today. And I really believe that if you're happy with where you are, there's no regrets, because you've said yes and, right? You've said, okay, that was my journey, and now what? What am I going to do with it? So I don't know. On one hand, like one little dance probably wouldn't change the course of my life, but you never know. So maybe I wouldn't.
It's true. I'll share something with you. I was asked to go to the prom for a guy who was older than me. I went to his prom, and he was actually up for prom king. And they selected him as the prom king, and he left me. And my parents had to come. I had to make the phone call so my parents could come and pick me up. He actually left with the queen, and I was there by myself.
Oh my God.
So I was just thinking, I guess these things happen. And I thought it was a prank, actually. That's what made me think of it. I thought it was actually a joke and he was going to come back and get me. But no, he didn't come back and get me. He just left with her, and my parents had to come pick me up.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it happens. What are you going to do? So we're here today. We've survived. We've grown. We've learned. And yes, we are strong.
We are strong. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Oh.
So, Rachel, as we come to the last part of our show, what are some things that you are going to change or embrace for the next year?
Yeah. Well, I mentioned that I have my own coach, right? So I have big, audacious, scary, terrifying goals that I've set for myself for the end of 2022, and I have no idea how I'm going to hit them. And so that's one change. Is I used to feel like you had to know how to achieve the goal. And what I'm learning by working with my coach is, and being reminded, is that the kind of the big scary goals are the best ones. You don't have to know how to achieve them. The whole point is, that's my mom's computer, sorry. That's the whole point. The fun part is figuring out the how, and learning how to have fun along the way of achieving big goals. And then I also mentioned, again, I have my own limiting beliefs still. What I remind others, and what I have others remind me, is that anytime you try to level up again, you're going to come to face with those old paradigms. And it's really helpful to have people in your corner that can help you move through that resistance. And so, in some ways it's a continuation of what I have been doing, but just at higher levels. So I have business and personal goals, professional goals, but just taking them to the highest level while having as much fun as possible along the way, I would say, is probably the biggest self-investment.
That sounds very exciting. How much pressure comes along with that?
As much pressure as I put on myself. So some days it's a lot and I have to practice what I preach, and other days, again, it's not. And I've decided I've done a good job practicing what I preach. Again, it's that idea of high achievers, right? The end of the day, the only person that's really putting that pressure on myself is me. And I just try to remember that. And so, I think sometimes people like us, maybe, I probably should just speak for myself, but, people that are, big goal chasers, high achievers, we're afraid that if we let up even a little bit, we won't do anything.
Right.
Right. As if it's all or nothing, right? Like if I don't go full throttle all the way all the time, it means I'm going 0. And that's just not true. Like you can go full throttle sometimes and then just like cruise at 60 for a while, right? Like
Yes.
it's not an all or nothing. And so just finding a way to have that peace and that fluidity is really important. And I have to remind myself of that.
Well, I'm right there with you. That is something that I have to work on every day because I'm very much black and white. And I feel like if I have so much more that I want to accomplish, that if I kind of take my foot off the gas, then I'm going to have to take all that work to get back up to 65
Yeah.
again. And I'm afraid to do that. So I just keep going and going and going. But I do things that are healthy. I make decisions for myself now that are much better than what I used to do, but I still have this drive to accomplish so much more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the drive is healthy, right? It's just making sure that you give yourself a little refuel along the way.
Yes. A question that I have for you that I debated if I should ask her or not, but I'm going to is, you're sitting in your mom's chair, right?
Yeah.
And your mom has also accomplished so much. How do you feel having parents who are such incredible, successful role models? Was that a lot of pressure for you growing up that you had to hit certain marks, certain points, certain accomplishments?
No, actually, it wasn't at all. I'm saying that's not because they might be listening or they're in the same house as me right now. Like I truly feel so lucky because my parents really never pressured me to hit certain things or do certain things. When I said I didn't want to do piano anymore, they said okay. When I said I didn't want to do volleyball or any more swimming, they said okay. They let me make those decisions. And they asked me why. It wasn't just like, they said like why, and we talked about it, but they honored how I was feeling. And I couldn't be more lucky. What they've also shown me is how cool it is and how possible it is to have different phases of your life and different chapters. My mom has done so much, and even my dad has had so many different little chapters along the way. And that I think helped me make the decisions that I've made to have different careers. And then to be able to pull all of those skills that I've developed along, from those different careers and apply them to the next one and apply them to the next one, rather than what we used to think is, well, you need to be on one trajectory. So I think it is true that sometimes, high achieving parents can put that pressure on their kids. But my parents have done a really beautiful job of instilling us what we're talking about, which is you can accomplish amazing things and stay humble along the way and stay grounded along the way and not put the pressure that you have for yourself onto other people.
Mm. I bet there's 2 people in that house who are all teary right now.
Maybe.
And I love the fact that you used the word humble. That was a word my father always instilled in me. Always be humble. And I think that we need a little bit more of that in the world today. But you are just so inspirational, Rachel, in so many ways. And I'm just so grateful that you're here. I'm glad the technology, the energy gods were with us so we could have this interview. And I did put up a post about I Am Not, and it is on sale today. I looked it up. So head over to Amazon and get that. All right, Rachel, what would you like to leave our audience with as we close out for the holidays?
I think the biggest one is, it's just so much of what we've already talked about, right? Say yes to yourself, right? And it's not because it's a play on my company name, which is Yes You. Say yes to yourself. You don't have to deserve it. You don't have to earn it. The fact that you exist makes you worthy of investing in yourself, of treating yourself with respect and kindness, and then pay that forward. I think we're calling it the platinum rule now rather than the golden rule, to treat other people as they want to be treated. And that includes yourself. And you don't have to wait till New Year's Day to do this. You could start right now.
Beautiful. And Rachel, for people who want to work with you, they want to hire you as a coach, what type of offerings do you have for them in terms of what are the services you provide as a coach?
Yeah, so I'm actually not doing one-on-one coaching right now. So in terms of that, what I can do is introduce you to the woman that I'm working with personally, and then a few others in my coaching network. I have a really robust kind of referral network. So I'm right now better at connecting just because, again, the doctorate, I have to kind of balance everything out. But there are other ways that I'm coaching with people in terms of my other business. So what I would say is if anything that we've talked about here today is striking chord with you, let's just have a conversation. And if I can't help you personally, I will get you with somebody that can.
That's so generous of you. I love that. And I also like the fact that you shared that you're working with a coach, because I know I personally am working with a coach. It's at one point I had 6 coaches, but we
Yeah.
all need a coach or a mentor when there's
Yeah.
a difference between the two. So
Yeah, I have 2 coaches and someone that does my fitness programming for me to make sure that I do things that I don't really want to do but need to.
we didn't discuss this at all, but I just want to touch on it before we close out because it is so important. Your mom has introduced me to someone who's now a co-host, Katrina Valente, and she is a facialist, esthetician, and we talk about what it takes to have beautiful skin, and it's from the inside out, right? And so it's what we put in, it's what we put on, and you have beautiful skin, and I was wondering if you could share some tips with us about that.
Oh, sure. So yes, the business that I'm building is an online franchise with a dermatology-based skincare company, and it is true. I mean, there's a wonderful book. The author's last name is Meltz, that talks about how if it's not also kind of fixed, so to speak, on the inside or thriving and vibrant on the inside, it's not going to be on the outside, and that self-image needs to be married. But 80% of aging of health is lifestyle, and so 20% is genetics, and so you do need to take care of your body, mind, skin. Skin is your biggest organ. So, for vanity, for longevity, for health, for whatever reason that, needs to motivate you, taking care of that calling card of the casing that is your body is really critical. So right now, I think Northern Hemisphere, right, where most of our viewers probably are, winter. So a few things to do would be exfoliate gently a few times a week, moisturize and hydrate your skin, hydrate also from the inside out, and then stick with that routine. Wash your face morning and evening. Don't go to bed with your makeup on. Develop a routine and stick with it. Those would be kind of the biggest, not knowing, everybody's individual skin types. Those are going to be kind of those core habits. It all comes back to habit and lifestyle and routine, right? Wash your face, tone it, moisturize it. If you need to do something beyond that, great. Pick products that are formulated for your skin type and your concern and use them. I joke with some of my clients, like, okay, you've bought the gym membership, so to speak. Now you have to actually show up. And so that showing up is just, using the products consistently.
I love that analogy about the gym. It's so true. Or people belong to some kind of club. They just keep paying, but they never go. Right.
Yeah.
That was me, by the way.
It's like, okay, I've signed up. Like, why am I not fit yet? You
right.
have to
Right.
do it. You have to
actually go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And something I want to bring in from a show yesterday, the Mallorca Connection, my co-host Roland Friedel, he was talking about crystal balls and rubber balls. So if you have a crystal ball and you drop it, it's going to break. And the analogy he gave was your health. A rubber ball is a lifestyle, right? So lifestyle can come and go, right? You can just drop that ball. You can change your lifestyle, so your lifestyle will change. But without your health, none of those things are going to happen. So we have to really take care of ourselves. And I think that more people, at least people I'm interviewing, speaking with, more people are actually looking at what it is that they're doing in their life that is affecting their health, and they're not even realizing it. People are having some epiphanies, really, that are insights that that they think the issues in their life are because of somebody else. It's because of her. It's because of him. It's because of this job. It's because of the television. But it's actually how we respond and how we take care of ourselves through that. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. That's a really interesting way to look at it. And I think health is everything. You can't, there is nothing you can do if you are not healthy except die. And hopefully that isn't offensive. I kind of just thought of that, but health, your health is everything. You cannot deliver anything without it. And health is not all or nothing. There's a continuum, right? So like mental and physical health, we all have both of those. It's where are you on the continuum? So there's that one piece. There was another thing that I thought of when you were talking, and I kind of lost it, so I apologize. But I think that might be the most important is everything comes down to routines, something that you're going to do consistently. I think a lot of times we're very quick to say, oh, I need a new routine. I need a new product. I need a new this, that, and the other. What you need to do is more intensity. And you need to be more intense about being consistent.
That's true. That's very true. I know just in building this broadcast platform, it was apparent to me that I need to show up and have the programs at the same time so people know where to find us.
Mm.
It's like if you were going to watch something on NBC, it's not that one show is going to be on a certain time, on a certain channel, on a certain day, so people know where to find it. So it's like with routines, it's the same thing. But if your routine is ineffective and you're just doing it because it's what you've always done, it's what you've always known, now might be a good time to assess it and see what the value is in it and say yes. And
the assessment is critical. I really appreciate you mentioning that, because I don't want to give the impression that, oh, I have this routine and that's just what I'm going to do forever. Well, that's just not going to happen, because you're going to evolve, hopefully, but you have to have that assessment piece, because you don't want to just keep digging yourself, right? So, if you think about it like, okay, right now, assess, like, what is going on in my life? Where am I at? What am I happy about? What am I not? What do I want to do differently? And something that I work with my business partners on, and would do with my coaching clients is, what is the best future self exercise? And I may actually still have a link to it on the On a Mission website. That's my little landing page. There should still be a link to the best future self. So everybody go do that. And you can do what I'm talking about. Envision where you want to be. Thank you for putting that up there. And then how are you going to get there? Like what are a few things that you can start doing to get there? And then along the way, so now you're going to have an intervention with yourself, right? So you've assessed, you know where you want to go. You're going to start putting a path to get there. And then in a few months, check in with yourself. Another little assessment. How am I doing? Where am I at? Do I feel like I'm moving forward? What do I need to redirect? Okay, redirect and go forward again. And it's just this constant self check-in that I think people don't do. My dad and I called it the slow boiling frog syndrome, right? Where suddenly you wake up and you're like, 80 years old or however, and you're like, oh, I've been doing this because I just have been doing it. And I've been bored with life for however many decades. And that's just really no way to live. So the assessment, the reevaluation is really critical.
yes, thanks for expanding on that. And I also want to just say that, and I've noticed this with people that I coach, I've noticed it with myself, family members, is there are a lot of distractions, and we're on this path and we're going to where we want to go, and someone throws us a distraction. And then it's like, oh, I thought I made the decision I wasn't going to do that. Oh, maybe I should look at it again. And now we're off the path. So so the assessment, I think, also needs to include eliminating the distractions. I like to think of it as a parking lot. So when I'm making a decision, I look at all the variables, and then I'll I'll examine the first one, and for reasons X, Y, and Z, I'm not going to do it. So I park it in the parking lot. It's over there for 6 months. I cannot go back to that for 6 months because I already evaluated it. But there's always those little nagging thoughts in your mind that, oh, maybe I should. Like, for example, I was going to get a second doctorate and actually signed up for the program. And I was thinking about it. I really should get it because, and I thought, no, I don't really. So it went back and forth. So it's like parking lot. It's in the parking lot. We're not revisiting it again for 6 months. What are your thoughts about doing that?
No, I mean, I think it's a really wonderful way to approach distractions like you're talking about. It's that idea of like squirrel, right? you just trying to stay on the path. I think there are moments, so again, and that comes back to that self-assessment, that self-check-in where you want to make sure that you are acknowledging when you should come off the path. And so you don't want to be so set that you end up being closed-minded and miss something. But you don't want to not get anywhere because you're constantly, responding rather than reacting rather than responding. So I don't know if that distinction resonates, but that idea of responding versus reacting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that the time that we're living in now, every one of us has experienced a lot of change, and how we deal with the change is going to reflect where it is we go on this journey. So for me, I've found, I was told in my corporate career that I was always an inch deep and a mile wide. I just shared this with somebody today, and I really never knew what that meant, but I understand what it means now because type A, I'm prone to take a lot of risk and look at things that I haven't done yet, but my plate is full. So to me, these things are distractions. I need to master everything I'm doing now before I go into something else. So I take these ideas that come to me when I'm out for a walk and I put them in the parking lot and I say, okay, you're there. I know you're there. I'll get to you, but I've got to finish what I'm doing here.
I think another way to look at it is, and this is tangential, it's not exactly to the example that you gave, but the taking a larger step back and asking yourself, what is the thing that I'm really trying to do? What am I really wanting to accomplish? For example, when I was looking at whether I wanted to keep doing one-on-one coaching, it's not, I don't want to do coaching, yes or no. It's okay, right now with what I have committed to, what I have time for in the life I want to preserve for myself, what can I give right now? And what do I feel called to do? So my mission, my purpose that I feel called to have is to help people live their best life. And I don't think work should suck. I don't think work should kill you. I think that there can be a new way to make a living where you're not choosing between making a living and living a life. And I can do that by going full throttle in my business rather than also taking the distraction right now of trying to build, a stream of one-on-one clients, coaching clients. I may come back to that, but I'm still fulfilling my larger mission by focusing in one direction. Another example of that might be, the idea of having building cars versus building horses. Not you're going to build a horse. I'm trying to think of this exact analogy and it's not coming to me, so bear with me here. But or Blockbuster versus Netflix, right? So we look at these businesses that have, like Kodak, that have, caught up or not caught up, or kept up and not kept up and gone out of business because they didn't revamp their strategies to technology more quickly, because they were stuck on, well, what we do is, and their answer was, well, we deliver, video rentals. We're a video rental company. We're a film company. And instead what they should have said is, we deliver we bring families together through film. And that could have taken Blockbuster from video rentals to a Netflix, to a streaming company. Kodak, we don't process film, we capture your memories, right? So we're not stuck in film as our technology. We are delivering, digital film, digital pictures. The point being is that if you frame what you are doing in a larger way and don't get caught up on the exact how as part of your identity, you're able to adapt more. Hopefully, Dr. Jacalyn, that's making sense how I'm phrasing it. But that idea of how you talk to yourself and how you shape your identity, write some parts of it in pen and other parts in pencil, I guess.
We're adding business strategists to your list of, of accomplishments and offerings. No, I thought that was brilliant about Blockbuster and Kodak. I really did.
Yeah, thanks. I think there's no Blockbuster anymore to get mad at me, but hopefully Kodak. There's no that in Oregon still, so anyways.
Rachel, you are truly a delight. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm sorry that I kept you much later, but I just really enjoyed talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you so much. It's been such an honor. So glad it worked out timing wise.
And thanks to your mom also for giving you her space so that we could hear you. We wanted to hear everything you have to say. Yes. So Rachel, we have a couple of banners here. What is the contact information you would like people to take away, and who would you like to reach out to you?
Oh, that's so great. Yes. So just that one right there, the On a Mission is going to be the best one. That's a kind of a landing page, if you will. So it's going to give you all sorts of links, and I keep it updated. So there's always going to be fresh content there. And then I'll have my social handles and direct contact information. I would say if you are dissatisfied with your job, your income, your life, even your skin, reach out to me, because I think of myself as a connector. So again, if I can't help you directly, I will do my best to match you with the person who can. But we can chat about what you're feeling, what you're looking for, and if among the many things that I do, if there's a way that I can help you intervene and redirect.
The Boehm family of connectors. You and your mom have introduced me to so many wonderful people, and I'm just so appreciative. I can't thank you enough.
No, likewise. Absolutely. It's we're all here to help each other, right?
For sure. And Rachel, I'm just going to put up about your book. People can go over to Amazon to purchase Rachel's memoir, I Am Not.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
All right. Happy New Year. Bye, Diann. Bye, Rachel.
She says bye.
Wow, what an incredible show filled with so much wonderful and important content. Thank you so much to Rachel and Diann for making that happen today. And thank you to all of you who are watching us on the live or on the replay. I wish you a very Merry Christmas from all of us here at USA Global TV. We will be coming back today for one additional show. Many of my co-hosts are on holiday this week. So our show that we'll be back with is presenting pet psychic Amina. She's going to give us some tips on how to care for your pets, and if you bought a pet as a gift, some insights that she can share with you. So once again, thank you so much for being here. Merry Christmas. I will see you later today. Bye.